So, Michael, we're here at well, it's a shared facility now.
That's right, the Williamstown Sports Complex, provided by the Waterford Corporation, which we share mainly our juveniles with several soccer teams. St. Joseph's are here, De La Salle are here, and I said one other. Could be Tyker, I think.
Yes.
And our neighbours Johnville, who've been always here, are not part of this, but they're down the road just as you came in.
And then you all share these?
All share the facilities there, yeah. We more or less have dressing rooms each and showers and what have you. And then there's a communal room that you can have meetings and whatever in, you know.
And we're overlooking St. John's Park.
That's right.
And like Erin's Own wouldn't be... I mean, I know it's now associated with St. John's Park in this area, but originally it wasn't.
No, when it was founded in 1924, it was mainly fellas from uptown, which roughly was the Ballybicken. The old jail was where I believe fellas playing hurling and the wall and the gate and what have you. That's where it started. Okay. And eventually then, in the earlier days, Mount Sion and themselves, as far as I know, used what is now Welsh Park. Mount Sion at one end, Erin's Own had the other. So eventually Erin's Own got what was known as Father Pat's Field down here. It must have been in the early 50s or late 40s. Now there was nothing there except the playing field. So eventually then we wound up in Polebury from the early 50s, which was property owned by the County and City Infirmary actually. We have a long-term lease, a sporting lease on it, and we pumped a fair bit of dough into it now over the years, you know. So it's quite a good place now. We have second field for youngsters, hurling wall, and we also have a clubhouse.
Okay. Lights
and what have you.
Yeah. And how did you get involved yourself in the Erin's Own?
Me? Yeah. Well, you see, my mother's a Ware. And the Ware started Erin's Own, among others, Charlie Ware and Jim Ware and all those. So I couldn't be anything else.
So it's W-E-I-R?
No, W-A-R-E.
Oh,
W-A-R-E, yeah.
Okay. And so if you're going to play for anyone, you'd have to play for them.
Yeah. Well, we went to school in De La Salle and played colleges, but no, it was only the one. It was the one-way system.
And were you always, your family was always GA then?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
And like, would you remember way back, do you know when the band was in?
I do.
And all that hoo-ha between the soccer and the GA and all that. I mean, what's your memory of all that period?
Erin's Own, rightly or wrongly, because it stuck with the letter of the law. I remember Erin's Own suspending two fellas that I can remember. I won't mention their names now, but forget one, he played soccer, and what the other fella did. And he had captained one of our teams to win an intermediate football championship, and he didn't get the medal until he's had purged his contempt or whatever it was at the time.
So they were very strict.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah. We didn't break the rule basically, but when it came to changing it, we agreed to change it. We voted to change it.
Okay. Because Waterford was a very soccer town, wasn't it?
Oh, terrible, very much so. And then it was rumoured to see that loads of Kilkenny fellas could come in here on a Sunday to Kilcone and scoop off over the bridge. And not a word in Carrick, but if I was seen going in there, or someone better than I was, it was hard luck, mate, you were caught.
And would you ever sneak in yourself?
That was never a soccer match in Kilcone.
Go away.
That's as sure as God, yeah.
Oh my God.
Never.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I knew lots of fellas, you know, I'd been McDowell and the Hales and the Fitzgeralds. I would have known Alfie and all those fellas. And
you were brought up, you said, in Waterford City?
Oh, Waterford City, yeah.
And what was your memory? Where did you grow up?
I was born in Alphonsus Road, and then we went from there in 1948 to what was Upper Johnston, down near the Mansion House. And that's where we are since then until I got married.
And what was your memory of like growing up in that period like?
Very, very content, very happy. Of course, people there was no great difference between people at that stage. Everyone either had something or you had nothing, which was for the most of us, you know. But it was basically a simple life, you know. Okay.
And where did you go to school then?
St. Declan's and then on to De La Salle College.
Okay. And so when you moved out to Johnstown, or to the Mansion House there,
yeah.
What was that area like that stage?
That was always a very settled area, you know, but there was never any new housing. It was all old housing around there at that stage. And then when John's Park came on stream in the early 50s, there was a kind of a vacuum there that there was nothing happening. And fortunately for us at that time, a man called Richie Dunn, who had been in sea for years. He was actually from Dunmore, had been from sea, and he came to live in South Praed. He got married. So he got a house in Johns Park. And that was his big thing in life, that he looked after young fellas and brought fellas together and organised and that kind. And other than that, Erin's own effort at underage level would have been very, very shook now, to put it mildly.
And a lot of people would know Richie then because his son Sean was.
That's right. Sean Dunn was, because Sean Dunn would have often spent hours in pub with his father, sitting down, looking at fellas playing or talking and that kind of thing, you know. In fact, Erin's own and a lot of other people were mentioned in his book, My Father's House, there when he came out. Must be 10 years ago now, is it?
Ah, yeah, easy.
Sure, Sean Dunn is dead, I'd say 30 years nearly, is he? Damn near it anyway.
And so Richie was kind of he helped to kind of.
Oh, Richie was the mainspring of underage activity in Erin's own.
But also to locate it.
Oh, absolutely. And he lived out here, so he had the ready-made. What's the population? He had the school, and his interest was like that, and that was it. Well, he was also the club treasurer for a long number of years, you know.
And how is the club now? I mean, is it in a healthy situation?
We're not bad, not bad. As at a playing level, we're not as good as we were the last couple of years. We've lost the first couple of championship matches. This time, 12 months, we would have been top of the pile. But now that we're come to the business end of it, hopefully it'll be reversed and we'll do all right.
And would you have good hope for Waterford this year?
They play next Sunday, so I think Waterford are in there with more than a fair chance. You know.
I mean, there's a lot of young lads coming up, isn't there?
There is, yeah. There's a good Waterford team there now. If they can hit it off, I think they're better off they played in Thurles, but fellas don't agree with me, you know. But anyway.
And the other way, I mean, the GA, I suppose, would be more the county side of it, wouldn't it? I mean, I know there's strong clubs in the city, but I mean, I suppose it was kind of more associated with the outside of the city, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. At a time, you'd imagine Waterford finished in Barrack Street, you know, in 57, 59, it was all Mount Sion, Erin's own, De La Salle kind of fellas, you know. But then they started to pick up fellas out the west, particularly in latter years. You know, I think there's probably about 3 or 4 city fellas on the team next Sunday. Oh. And what I mean by city now, fellas from Ballygunner, De La Salle, Mount Sion. That's all, I think. The rest of them now would be West Waterford, certainly from Tramore out.
Which is interesting, isn't it?
It is very interesting, yeah.
And what did you actually play hurling or football?
Well, I played both with Erin's own. I played for Waterford under 21 and junior football.
And did you play for De La Salle as well?
Oh, I did. We played De La Salle College while I was there, yeah.
And like De La Salle always had a very strong, football and hurling because of all the borders.
Yes, well, see, in my time, I was in De La Salle from 56 to 59, I think it was. At that time, there was lots of Kerry borders, and they had a fairly good football team. And around 1958, I think, 58 or 59, they won the Munster Colleges for the first time, and beaten in an All-Ireland semi-final. Now, I went to work after that. But at that stage, it was all mainly football. There was hurling. We won the Carlin Cup, I think it was. Not the Harty Cup, because the Harty Cup was only won once in those years by Mount Sion, until De La Salle came good 8 or 10 years ago, when they won the Harty Cup a number of times, you know, and won the All-Ireland colleges to boot, with Derek McGrath in charge. And they would have been all mainly local fellas. Now, there was a few fellas from South Kilkenny and that kind of thing, but the Fergal Hartley and all these fellas, that they would have played with De La Salle. Some would have been gone before the Harty Cup game, but Noel Connors now, for instance, would have been on that team, you know.
And would a lot of the kids now from Scull or Corn and all that area, would they now associate with
yes, absolutely. And we would we're kind of dug in the school, because some of our fellas are going in there 2 or 3 times a week to take coaching and that kind of thing. Then we use here, as I said to you already, in the winter, and here on a Saturday morning and a Wednesday night, you could have 50 or 60 children up here on a Saturday morning, you know.
That's great.
Yeah, but we do nurture the school as best we can, you know. So
that's great. And what about, is there a girls' team now? We
have girls' football team. We have a girls' football team. It started last year, and they made pretty good progress now. They won a couple of championships at the lower grades, but they're still at it. And there was little ones here the other day. I think it was under 8, and they were playing a match against Tramore, you know. But it is on the move.
Yeah.
you know.
Because it's picking up. You see it now on TV a lot more, like the
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
football and
We
hurling.
had a trophy presentation right there earlier in the year, probably January, February, and the Ryans and Ballymacarry were down with the cups. There was a huge crowd on there, you know, young ones getting a few medals, and they were delighted, you know. And so are we to have them in there.
And why is it called camogie and not hurling?
I don't know. I think the hurley was called a camogue. I think that's the reason why. I'm not sure.
It's a funny one.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to ask, Michael?
Just a little. Can you talk a little more about Father Pat's Field, or what that was?
Well, Father Pat was a curate in St. You see, St. John's Park was all part of St. John's Parish one time, which is done at the big church in Parnell Street. And then Father Bobby Keane built the church in the Folly and the one in Newtown. And sometime around that time, the parish was split. St. John's remained, which mainly the Cork Road, the older part, said this was Sacred Heart Parish, and Ballygunner and Benildus and Ballygunner were another parish. So Father Pat's Field was down there, where those houses are now basically. He was a curate in St. John's now. Whether he bought that, but that's what was known as. There was never any development until the housing came along there. There was a little bit of a play, what would you call it? A play area up there,
Playground.
but to a playground, just seesaws and what have you. But other than that, there was nothing ever done much.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Okay,
Brilliant.
you're happy.
That's great.
That's tall. I'm used to you now.